Hi, it's Cat, and I'm back with episode 3 of my original Kindle Vella Foxlights. I am not a voice actor, I don't do Audible, I'm just an author, and I'm just reading out loud. So forgive me if I stumble or stutter, I just thought you'd really like to hear it. So episode 3, Foxlights, under Kindle, under Vella, under Cat D Vermillion. Ready? Princess, I know it's not looking good right now, but we gotta book it out of here, now. My dad pulled my mesh face mask back down over my wide, frightened gaze, his own eyes wide and noticeable behind his own mesh mask, before he grabbed my hand and pulled me to my feet, giving my body a shove to get me going ahead of the guard's heavy footfalls and hiding my smaller frame ahead of his larger one protectively. I moved on autopilot, my father guiding me ahead of him as we once again lost the guard and continued our escape route as planned, neatly avoiding the fat, clumsy guard as we did. All I can remember from that night was wanting to go home and go to sleep so I could wake up the next morning and have all of this just be a bad dream. I desperately wanted to reset this hideous night and have a do-over. There are no do-overs in life, and only half of my wish came true. My dad got us back to our hotel room in Dublin safely, and I took a shower and changed, blind in my terror to what had happened, and he got me tucked into my bed where I promptly passed out. The last thing I saw before my shock and fear shut my mind down was my father's concerned face frowning down at me from the rim of his computer, the blue light reflecting from his face as he stared down at me. Don't worry, Princess, I'll figure this out. I shut down, firm in the belief that my father could fix anything. That was mistake number 2. I rolled over, blinking the sleep from my eyes. I stretched my arms over my head. I felt like $1,000,000 this morning. I could feel myself smiling as I looked up at the white-painted ceiling of my hotel room. My dad was snoring softly in the bed next to mine. This was normal. He tended to stay up late while I was the early riser. He liked to do research, often becoming engrossed in what he was learning far into the night before finally falling into an exhausted sleep in the early morning hours. I looked at his pale features, so similar to my own. We were often mistaken as brother and sister instead of recognized as father and daughter. Some of that mix-up could be due to the fact that my parents were young teenagers when I came along. My mom had only just turned 15 when she found out she was pregnant with me. My dad had turned 15 the month before, and 2 of them had only been dating in high school a few months when they found out my mom wasn't just suffering from a bad case of the stomach flu. My grandparents on both sides were naturally horrified that their babies would have their own baby. Of course, teenage pregnancy isn't exactly uncommon. My grandparents never imagined it would happen to their children. My mom's family immediately began pressuring their valedictorian overachiever into having an abortion. But my mom had stood firm. This was her baby and she wanted it. My mom had to go live with my father and his more supportive family for a few years while they tried to do the co-parent teenage romance thing. They tried really hard to make it work before, as most young couples do, they broke up. Things ended amicably, both coming to an easy agreement for custody and visitation. Neither of them wanted me to grow up in an uncomfortable environment. The judge commented on their friendship as they made their way through the paperwork in the process. By this time, they were both 18, and I was 3 years old. I stayed most of the year with my mom, who worked and went to nursing school, while my grandparents took turns babysitting me. My dad got a scholarship to study history in Europe and would come back on any holiday he got until I was old enough to travel with him. And that is the end of episode 3. If this sounds interesting and you like Gemini's story, she's available to be read on Foxlights, Kindle Vella, under Cat D Vermillion. If you're interested in hearing more from me reading aloud, leave comments, let me know, interact somehow. Thank you. Have a great day.